What if I told you that these starting positions aren't random? If you've played the Fractured But Whole, then you may have at some point wondered if there's a way to change your party's starting positions. While there's not always an easy way to do so, you can affect your party's starting positions to some degree by understanding how the game places down party members. So far, I've observed 3 different ways the game places down party members, which differs from fight to fight. There may potentially be more, but these are currently the only 3 I've seen, so let's walk through these together. Starting off, we have the most practical one, which is party order. Fights like Butter's Dad or Danger Deck stages simply plop down your party members based on what order you have them in the party. So taking the Civil War 4.0 stage as an example, if I go into the fight with a party of Mysterion, Toolshed, and Human Kites, they'll simply be put in that order from bottom to top. If I switch the order to be Toolshed, Human Kite, Mysterion, you can see that they've now changed positions. This is very convenient if you're working on Danger Deck, as you have far more control in where you want your characters to start out on the map to match up each party member against specific enemies. Next up is a pattern that I've only come across at the final wave of the Stick of Truth fight. For this one, party members are placed in alphabetical order by their superhero names, but with the 2 DLC characters Henrietta and Mintberry Crunch shoved last. You can see here with a party of Call Girl, Fastpass, and Mysterion, they're placed in the same order from top to bottom for C, F, and M. If I now swap out Mysterion for Captain Diabetes, the order will be Call Girl, Captain Diabetes, and Fastpass, so it's not just party order like Danger Deck. Putting in Tupperware, Super Craig, and Wonder Tweak will get them in this order for S, T, W. Now if I have Mintberry Crunch, Henrietta, and Wonder Tweak, you can see they'll be placed in this order instead, so it shows that they were an afterthought for this pattern. This fight is also weird because unlike the majority of the game where turn order is decided by the initiative system, turns are decided by party positions, with the King going first, followed by the first party member, followed by Past Craig, followed by New Kid, followed by Past Kyle, and so on. While this isn't going to impact a casual playthrough much, this coincidentally works out well for the speedrun as we have Call Girl in the party for the majority of the game, so we can apply defense down on the King at the very start.
We gotta protect the king.
Last but not least is the most common setup you see for most story and overworld encounters, which is health based. I'm not 100% certain if this is how it actually works, so take this with a grain of salt. But after racking my brain for a while and doing some extensive testing, this is the conclusion I came up with. So in each fight, the game has 4 spaces chosen labeled 1 to 4, or 1 to 3 if someone is locked to a certain slot. They aren't neatly organized from top to bottom or anything, it's just 3 to 4 spaces chosen and placed in a specific order, potentially to have your tank start in the most dangerous positions for certain fights. The game then assigns each character to the slots based on a priority hierarchy that's very heavily based on HP, with the moveset having an effect as well. This is the hierarchy of characters from highest priority to lowest priority, together with their health and move stats at 800 mites. You can see that there is a strong correlation between their rank on this list and their health stats, especially if I black out all the characters with 2 move. This hierarchy is likely just something that's baked into the game's code, as changing a character's moveset through artifacts like the Triumph of Heart has no effect on this hierarchy. The new kid's position on the hierarchy is decided on whether their DNA adds HP, subtracts HP, or has no additional HP to it. The moveset has no effect on this, nor does the amount of HP they gain or lose affect this. Let's take a look at this using the fight against the crab people at the lake. The slots here are numbered 1 to 4 from top to bottom, so it'll be easier to see the changes. Right now I have the Pheromone Infusion DNA equipped, which doesn't boost my health. With a party of Mosquito, Human Kite, and Toolshed in the party who are all on the lower end of the hierarchy, the new kid is placed in the first slot. If I then swap out Mosquito for Fastpass who's higher up in the hierarchy, the new kid gets shoved to the second slot instead. I can continue to do the same thing, bringing in Call Girl and then Tupperware, shoving the new kid into the last slot. Now if I swap over to the Mellowed Pain Receptors DNA, which only has a 15% HP boost, giving me a much lower max HP than Tupperware, I now get shoved all the way back to the first slot. Now I swap over to Crack Baby DNA, which has minus 30% HP, and bring back the original party of Mosquito, Humankind, and Toolshed. I'll be in the third slot instead of the first. That about sums up my findings for this topic. Thanks for watching. I put a lot of work experimenting around to figure out these mechanics, so if you could do me a favor by liking this video, I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, I'm currently working on a series called Behind the Brute where I explain the speedrun of the Fractured But Whole. We're currently up to part 6 where we got to beat up Butters and his dad, so if you're interested in seeing a technical breakdown of how the game gets destroyed by speedrunners, you should check that out.